All right, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. Today's topic is if you're wondering what the red flags are when hiring foreign-born workers in the United States, stay all the way to the end of the show. This should be at least about 10, 20 minutes. So I'm going to share some valuable information. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America and across the world, helping you solve your immigration problem and maybe even helping prevent the problem from happening in the first place. Now, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we do offer a free 15-minute mini strategy session just to point you in the right direction. Now, this is for whether it's helping an employer, a company in America, or maybe the company is abroad, but they want to invest and start a new branch office in America or like a subsidiary. We're happy to help, or even filing a lawsuit suing the US government. Yes, we actually do that because unfortunately, the government delays a lot of people. So, for example, when it's related to companies, when you've already applied for H-1B, you got approved, you got selected for the registration, your candidate did for H-1B, but then you filed for H-1B, you got that approved, and then your applicant, at some point, your employee goes abroad to the country to pick up the visa. Unfortunately, currently, if you get the visa, if you get approved for it for the first time, you still got to go back to pick it up outside America. Now, they did change a rule recently for people who were approved before, already picked up the visa, and renewing it again, you can pick up the visa in America. Why not just do that for everyone? Okay. But, today I want to cover some red flags, some misconceptions when it comes to hiring foreign workers. And it's a lot, but I'm going to boil it down to at least 2 or 3 today and save the rest for next week. Okay. Of course, if you have any questions, you usually answer those questions about maybe after 8-10 minute mark. I'm usually complete with what I want to share with the topic of the day. So I will definitely get to that. So if you do have any questions and I haven't responded to any, don't think I won't respond. I definitely will. Please go ahead and drop it in the comment section and I'll get to it soon. Now, folks, the very first one, okay, is for employers. Don't take a long time like you normally would with maybe with other applicants when you're trying to hire, when you end up really liking a resume, someone's background, and the person ends up being a foreign-born, born outside America. You have to, number one, ask what their current status is. Maybe they're here on a student visa. Maybe they're about to apply for STEM or OPT in general, which at minimum is a 12-month temporary work permit. And that's it. Okay. So what I try to help employers and foreign national applicants is the timeline. Do not wait until the very last second. And so really the second tip is related, but if you're on the employee side, the foreign national, okay, applicant, do not wait like a typical American like me and try to apply for a job after you graduate college. Don't wait that long, okay? You want to build up your contacts, build up your resume through internships, clerkships, externship, whatever the heck you want to call it. The point is just build up the resume so that, because if employer has a pick in a pool of like 10 people, it obviously helps if you have some kind of experience, even though you were in college. And I know F1 allows for limited work hours, but find something that could be that can still comply with the rules, of course. Now, another thing is because timing, and that's why we go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, pretty much all these social media, because some people come to us and we hate to be giving bad news, but it's too late, sometimes too late. And could be the greatest employee in the world. It does not matter. You have to meet certain legal requirements. And most of these applications have some kind of time restriction. So in the legal world, we call that statute of limitations. So that's just something to consider. Okay, folks. So a little bit more detail about tip number 2. Okay, folks, is that people are in college they have the opportunity to use a temporary work permit called OPT. Now, if you don't have, um, access because maybe your degree is not a STEM degree, then that would be 24 months OPT. But if you don't have that, then you have 12 months. So what does this tell us? So of course, depending on when you would graduate, more or less you might have 1 to 2 chances at the to register for H-1B. Now, for as a company, only the company or via their lawyer, only they're allowed to register the candidate. Okay, the foreign national candidate applicant cannot register themselves for H-1B, but that is every March. Now, of course, there are some exceptions to the law, so you are able to, get H-1B, apply for H-1B outside of the registration, and that's what we call cap exempt from the cap. So, but that's typically based on a nonprofit status as an entity. So a lot of hospitals are nonprofit, or is it related to academics? It is possible, but for most employers, it's going to be subject to the cap, meaning there's a minimum number of H-1B visas. So H-1B visa is more, just a quick summary of that, is basically someone who has a college degree or master's degree that is what the government calls specialized knowledge. Now, it can include, for example, like dentist, engineering. So you might wonder, does it count as a specialized knowledge? We're happy to chat with you about that. Now, someone asks, well, can a cashier, can a childcare worker, a nanny go under this, even if they have a degree? Well, number one, first of all, it has to be related. The degree has to be related to the job. Okay, it must be required by the job. Now, for example, so with that being said, it could rule out a lot of people. But then the second thing is, of course, the actual occupation. Is it considered specialized knowledge? It is a complex definition in a sense, but you're welcome to reach out, answer a couple questions on the form above, freevisaquiz.com, and our CARES team will try to contact you within 24 hours of a weekday. Because some of y'all fill out the form on the weekend, but no one's working on the weekend typically, okay? Unless it's like a deadline or something. But we do pretty good on submitting information documents way before the deadline. So fortunately, that's going good for us. Now, the other thing to know, or at least watch out for on the employer aspect, is something we call basically the 50% rule. Because some of y'all, maybe your employee has been working for you for maybe already, let's just say a year for now, and then you want to sponsor them for the same position that they're currently in. We typically recommend to consider a different position, or maybe like a kind of like a promotion, because your candidate, if not working for you currently, or someone's currently working for you, let's say employee, doesn't actually have to be in that specific new proposed position until the green card has been approved. Okay, so it's a long ways. But that's a common misconception that people have, is that, do I have to sponsor someone who's currently working for me, or does that person have to work for me right now? Okay, so no, it doesn't have to be. It could be considered a candidate until approved. All right, now that was the third tip, right? So the fourth tip I got for you for today, and that will wrap it up for today in terms of the information here. Now, disclosure, of course, this is just information, all right, for your benefit. But if you are about to file or considering to file something or sponsor someone, I highly encourage you do consult with an attorney one-on-one. Do not rely only on YouTube videos for your specific situation, because you just need a little verification. You need an attorney to verify for your situation, especially if you to not waste time, to reduce stress, and not waste any money, okay? Because in the law, in the United States, there's so many exceptions. So you just need to contact a lawyer one-on-one, and hopefully experienced immigration lawyer, okay? I have so many bad stories to share a different time. But the fourth thing I want to share with you today, hot tip here, is What I meant to mention actually, so earlier is the 50% rule. So let's say if that job, whether it's a current position that the person's working in or a promoted position, the person cannot be working in that position for more than 50%, 50% or more based on experience that you need. So if that position requires 2 years of experience, but that employee already has 1 year minimum of that experience, that's not a good idea. Okay, you're gonna be knocked out. So it's strange. There's many steps with employment-based cases that you might think, oh well, John, how come like in step 3 or 4 now they're telling us that this is a problem? Look, the government, the steps of each stage of the way of the case, there's different mechanisms, there are different situations where the government, USCIS, or Department of Labor could get involved. Each stage is for a different reason. So that's why typically if there's any issues or possible concerns, it's typically at the labor certification, because the Department of Labor can issue an audit randomly. It's typically not targeted, it's random. So that's why it's important from very, very first step that we have all the accurate information and make sure you're qualified and eligible in the first place. Okay. Now, when I say all that, typically almost anyone can be sponsored for employment-based green card for residency. Now, if it's for like someone about H-1B or something, then like, or O-1, there's just, of course, a higher standard in terms of legal standards. So that's something to be aware of. And by the way, appreciate the hearts and likes. If you enjoyed the information we share and how we share it, please smash the like button, the hearts, subscribe, and follow down below so you get all the future notifications. Oh yeah, you gotta click the bell for that on YouTube. So all right, so yeah, that's called the 50% rule. As you can tell, I probably shared way more than 4 tips, but that's basically it for today in terms of that advice. But so that wraps it up on LinkedIn. Now I'm going to answer some questions on YouTube. Okay, so for the LinkedIn family, I'll see you next week. Okay, let me remove from here. Okay, and I think that worked. Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. That's my first time doing that. Let's see. All right, Samir. What is U visa happen? Okay, I think what you mean is what happens with U visa. I need a little bit more detail. Like, I don't know if I can understand a little bit better where your case is currently at, or did you file at all? But yeah, I need a little bit more information. Hey, Lenny, you're welcome to ask some questions on Instagram. Okay, Omar, I think you asked this question before last week. Can I answer your question about how long does it take for interview in Turkey? Similar to Samir, I don't know. I need to know more information about, are you documentarily qualified? But there is no data, unfortunately, to know exactly how many months or how many days after you're documentarily qualified to receive the interview date. Unfortunately, I can't give that information to you because I don't have it. I don't think anyone has that. If they do, they'd probably be making that up. If anything, it's an estimation, okay? But these days with post-pandemic, and there's still, I shared the other day that there's at least 350,000 people still waiting for the interview. So I would suspect you're probably gonna have to wait at least 6 months. I mean, again, depending which country you're coming from, your country nationality, okay? Hopefully that helps a bit. But the key thing here is if you're documentary qualified, because I just jumped in a consultation earlier because I'm not the default person for consultations anymore. Otherwise, I'd probably lose my voice. Okay, Lane, I see your question. I'll get to you soon. And so anyways, Thomas, you are asking, you said you received an RFE for medical for NBC literally 10 days after filing. Yeah, that's wonderful. That is real fast. They had biometrics from previous case, so you didn't have to do it again. That's great. Your RFE asked to send back your medical. You sent it back, saw it was received. Please advise what's the next step. Could it come from contractors? It came so soon after filing. Man, that's great, Thomas. That's impressive. So yeah, we've seen some similar quick processing there. I was just sharing the other day that typically, when fortunately for us, when we sent it out, it was we got when it was delivered, like received by the government, we got the online notification that it was approved the same day or the next following weekday. Let's say like Monday, right? So that was impressive. But I can't guarantee that to you, and I don't think USCIS could guarantee that to you as well. Someone commented the other day in a similar situation like this that it's been a couple months for them. But I mean, as long as they didn't ask for any more evidence about the marriage, for example, that's a pretty good sign. But sometimes, man, 10 days, that's impressive, Thomas. That's real quick. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, just because you didn't receive an RFE about marriage evidence doesn't mean that they won't send you one later. So, but if you think you provide a sufficient amount of evidence on that, then you're probably good to go. I think, some people lie to themselves and say like, oh yeah, I submitted a marriage certificate, so that's good enough. No, I mean, I'm sure, Thomas, that you've looked at like the instructions for the I-130 and the 485. So if you follow that, I mean, most of it, then you should be okay. But if you definitely did not provide like a shared or joint bank account, it's safe to say to assume an RFE. But in terms of timing for you, Thomas, and anyone else that has a similar situation of responding back with a medical exam, that's hard to say. I can only share based on my case experience. And again, that was, fortunately, knock on wood, the same day notification on online or the following Monday when they received the package. So, yeah, that might not help you, Thomas, but yeah, hopefully you don't have to wait that much longer. But that'd be impressive if you get the approval notice or a decision pretty soon. Okay, now to Lenny, your question is, okay, and if I missed some of y'all on your questions, I will try to go back to it. You can always kindly remind me, and comment again. Lenny said, you just got her from Honduras with an F2 visa, underage daughter of a U.S. citizen. Do you have to do the N600? Okay, and you're about to turn 18 next month. Okay, well, happy early 18th birthday to you. You're about to be officially an adult in America. In fact, I think in other countries you'd consider adult way earlier. Lenny, I don't know if you contacted us before, but this seems like a situation you may need to call us or answer some questions on our forum online at greencardguys.com, because it makes it sound, well, to break down your question. Yeah, maybe you qualify. Maybe you're already automatic, what we call automatic derivative of a U.S. citizen. So maybe you're already a U.S. citizen. In that case, yeah, file N600 if you think you're eligible. But yeah, if you think you're eligible, I mean, contact a lawyer about that. But if you're here on if you're saying F2 visa, meaning like you're one of your parents is a student or something, but maybe you mean like F2 family preference. That's probably what you actually mean, family preference. There's all these letters and numbers, so I'm like guessing. But yeah, I think you mean family preference. So yeah, family preference, as you know. Well, you came back with F2 visa. So that means you got the green card then? Is that what you mean? Maybe you just had the consular interview. Yeah, I mean, I would suspect sometimes the visa officers abroad in the U.S., they do like a mini review to just see if you're a U.S. citizen already. They don't do that for everyone. But, for example, like some questions on the form has like, what's the status of your parents? And I think that's because they want to see if maybe you're already a citizen, so they don't have to go through this process. But of course, at that point, if you followed yourself, then the officer wouldn't review it until there's an interview anyway. So you would have already spent that money. So I mean, that's why it's good to call a lawyer for that. It can be expensive. I think it's okay. I should have scrolled down. You commented some more. Because when you went to Honduras, it said I would automatically be a U.S. citizen. Oh, okay, IR2. Okay. Gotcha. Yes, you got the green card. Congratulations. Yes, in that case, yes, you do file the N-600. So because I know it's strange, you got to get the green card first. So even you got the green card for one day, then you apply for N-600. So you would think, why not just let you apply for N-600 straight? That would be nice, but that's not how it works. USCIS and all these agents, well, USCIS, at least they get funded by you, okay, or your parents. Congress does not pay the employees of USCIS. You do, actually. So you would think there's better customer service by them. They're getting better. Everyone I talk to. I thought you think you can't after you turn 18. Well, hey, if you're about to turn 18, you got to do it ASAP. Why wait? Do it as soon as possible. At least get it in the door, filed before then. And I don't think you can do that online. Okay. Well, check the instructions for N-600 to see if you need to provide proof for the green card. Most likely, if I recall, most likely. Okay. But hey, if anything, at least provide proof that you did pay for it and you're approving those or something showing that you are a resident, even if you don't have the actual resident card, okay? You don't want to wait that long. You can file if you're over 18, but of course, I mean, it's always better. It's always better before that. So let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, you're on Instagram. I can't share my screen on Instagram, but yeah. Yeah, they changed the rules to where if you are over 18 now, it's okay, but it's always better to file beforehand. You can always provide proof of your resident card after the fact if they send you a request for evidence RFE in the mail. But of course, provide proof that you are a resident. So you have that already. Something like your visa issued, documentation, or the payment of your resident card. Okay, the $220, I believe, $225. Yeah, it's taken a month for you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it does. I don't know why it takes so long. Oh, you do have a consult with us. Okay, Monday. Okay, great. All right, Lenny, we'll be on the lookout. It might not be with me. It might be with likely with one of my premier associates, Ariana, at the very least. But I'll try to jump in if needed. But it should be Ariana will be able to help you. All right, so let's see. To Omar, you're welcome, Lenny. Omar, you're saying you are waiting for 6 months for your wife's interview. Now, when you say waiting, Omar, have you already your wife been documentarily qualified? Like, did you receive an email saying, AKA, your case is in line? So when it says your case is in line, it doesn't mean like, oh, it's going to happen next month. That would be great if they gave us some kind of update like that, but they're not that accurate, unfortunately. So what I recommend is you check your email to make sure you're documentary qualified. That's very important because I just had a consultation earlier where they were not. We come to find out after a lot of not deliberation, but I was thinking like a jury, a lot of back and forth. Found out that the person's not documentary qualified. Turns out they're waiting one more month because life happens. You get busy in life. They don't have an attorney, so that's okay. You don't have to have a lawyer, but yes, like I think what Omar's trying to get at is if your case is taking too long and you feel like it's stuck, give us a call. Okay, you're welcome to do that. Give us a call, and go to that number right above here, 720-740-4247, or just answer a couple questions on that form, free visa quiz, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right, or just go to our website, greencardguys.com, and there's a form right there for you. But yeah, 6 months waiting for your wife's interview. It's hard for me to say. I mean, I appreciate you sharing with me how many months, but I need to know since when. What was the last situation? Was it documentary qualified? Because yeah, again, like the prior person I spoke with earlier, they need to update their H-64 form and provide more information to show that that person's income exceeds the minimum poverty guidelines. So we do have resources for that. You don't have to hire us. we're happy to provide those resources to see if you can do it yourself. But so in that situation earlier today, like I said, I told the person, like, there's no sense in hiring me for mandamus yet. All right, we'll just wait and see. Hopefully it all works out for you. Hopefully you don't have to hire us. But of course, we'd love to provide clients peace of mind. All right, make it easy as pie. Is that what the saying is? As easy as possible for you. Just like we like to make it as easy as possible for USCIS to, or Department of State to approve your case. You would think it should be just rubber stamp, but unfortunately, it can't take a long time. But good thing for Thomas, you got that RFE for medical in 10 days. That is amazing. I am still shocked. Sometimes people can't get a receipt notice in 10 days. So that's amazing. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they did it. They reviewed it. Like literally they received the case file, and you would think that's how they would normally do it, but they didn't do like this before. But it sounds like they received the case file, okay, in the mail. They do open it up because they need to put in a scanning system, okay? So I guess they're checking for that medical exam now. So for anyone else who's wondering what information they should pick, I can't tell you every single item you should bring or should file, but at the very least, joint bank account and the medical exam. Okay, of course, a lot more things, but some people say, well, do I need to provide medical now? Well, you don't technically, but hey, if you want to skip the interview process, your best chance is providing the medical. And if you don't want to deal with this RFE back and forth, because yes, like Thomas said, some of y'all have submitted it very quickly back, but then like crickets. When's the next, he said earlier, okay, here it goes. It's been a week since they received it. So it's not that long technically. I've been very fortunate. Our law firm has been very fortunate to receive the notification online the same day or the next business day, but that's not going to happen for everyone. So at some point, if you're went to the medical exam, I would just wait to receive the medical results on the sealed envelope and then mail it out. Okay. But usually clinics, I've been told, it usually takes about 7 days. All right. So about a week. But you want to ask them, how long will it take? Because of course, it shouldn't take a month. I don't think it's that backlogged, but hopefully not. No one's ever complained to me about it taking a month. So you might as well wait to send it at the same time. All right, NVC, Omar, you're saying that NVC already sent you approval. Okay, I think you mean documentary qualified. So 6 months, yeah, I know it's a long time, Omar. I hate that you have to wait that long. As many people waiting at least 6 months probably. But get back to me at least 8 months, 8 to 9 months, okay? If you want the best chance, I'd probably wait a year, Omar. And I know it's weird. I'm turning away business, but the best thing to do in this situation for waiting after documentary qualified, join our Facebook group, okay, Omar, and anyone else. Let me see if I can share it with you, because we're going to try and do better to share data, the data points on how many visas are issued per consulate. Now, we only provide typically based on the ones that are more common that people ask us about. So technically, Turkey's not on the list, but we'll make sure to check on it. And if you contact us directly, then it's easier for us to share this information with you. Okay, Omar? So fill out the form, Omar, on our website, greencardguys.com, and then we can email you the information on the about Turkey, okay? And I've trained most of my team knows how to check this, but we are building up, basically a graph, so it's easier for y'all to see. Okay, so let's see here. I think I answered most of y'all's questions. And hey, by the way, if you are on TikTok, man, I know people are asking me to dance on there, but if you're on TikTok, go to Green Card Guy. If you have TikTok already, if you're not on it, don't worry about it. I don't want to cause you more stress like social media does to many people and myself, but if you have TikTok, go to Green Card Guys _John and give it a follow if you don't mind. Give me some feedback on how I'm doing on there. Just trying to share more tips, like 30 to 60 second version. I know sometimes I go long, like 3 minutes. But also, if you receive some value from any of our information that we share with you, if you don't mind giving us some feedback on our customer service, or even if you talk to one of our cares team members, but maybe you didn't need to hire us, and that's fine, no problem, no hard feelings. Maybe you didn't need a lawyer in the first place or at all. We just point you in the right direction. We appreciate your feedback. Okay, go to reviewteamlaw.com. We greatly appreciate it, because at least it shows me that I really need to continue doing this, going live every day, every weekday. Can't do on the weekend. It's too much. I need a little break. But the more you share our video and bookmark, subscribe, follow, and submit a review, it gives us more oomph, energy to keep going and sharing more information. Okay. Thank you so much. Looks like I've answered everyone's questions so far today. All right. We wish you the best. And today's Wednesday, so I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.